Hello, everybody. We'll give people just another minute or two to join us on this journey we're going to take together. And I hope that you will find this practice useful and something that you can continue to come back to again and again. It's always important to, I think, reevaluate what we believe about ourselves and our lives so that we can question what might be holding us back. Hello. So, as I was saying, it's important for us to constantly question what we believe about ourselves and give ourselves a chance to question beliefs that we might have about who we are, what we're doing, where we're going, and why we're not getting the results that we want. And I think there's many teachers that have come along and taught this exact same concept, right? That if we are not happy, it is because we are choosing to be unhappy. If we are not well, we are because we are choosing to be unwell. We might not see that that is our choice at the time because we're so caught up in it, but that is the reality. And so, we can look at. I thought I had it set so people could just come in. So, perhaps we can even see that being demonstrated in today's politics, where we're so caught up in the problems, we can't see that we're all in this together. It's not two opposing teams. We're on the same team. And if we're just going to focus on this being all or nothing for one side or the other, this is not going to end well for anybody. And the same thing is going on in our minds all the time. We're always battling with ourselves, with who we want to be and who we think we are. And so there's some place in the middle where both of these teams can actually come together and say, hey, actually, we're here together because we're enjoying playing the game. And we all want to win. And just make sure everybody's muted here. So that being said, where I like to begin is to place our attention on what we want. One thing that we want to create. One thing that we want to change about our life. Whether that's about our health, our career, our relationships, anything. And we can pick that one goal. Because typically when we have a problem or an issue and we approach somebody that we think we can help, we approach with that problem, we lead with that problem. And as one of my teachers so eloquently demonstrated with a stick figure drawing, is that if we only focus on the list of things that we don't like about our life or the things that we're afraid about, and we're trying to get away from that, it's like running but looking backwards over your shoulder. And you're going and you're going and you know what you don't want, so you're going away from that, hopefully, but you have no idea where you're going and you have no idea what obstacles are in front of you. So a much better way to plot a course is to instead figure out where you want to go. What do you actually want to create? Where are you going towards? Because if you're going towards that, you're automatically going away from the problems. But now you can see where you're going and you can make choices based on the reality as it is instead of just the fear and the pain. So with this half an hour, I'd like to invite you to take a moment and just write one goal, one thing that you want to change or create an outcome in your life. And just write that down on a sheet of paper. I'll give you a second to do that. This doesn't have to be, the end all be all, just anything. It could be, I really want to make lunch right now. Okay? Whatever it is. And now just take a moment and close your eyes and imagine what it would feel like to have accomplished or created that result. Delicious sandwich. That feels really great, so yummy. I feel so nourished. My stomach isn't growling anymore, right? Just imagine what it feels like to have that thing. And this experiment is important because it's to demonstrate that even though you don't have that thing yet, you can imagine what it feels like. And so if it's as significant as I want to not be in pain, well, you can still imagine what it would be like to not be in pain despite being in pain at the moment. And what's amazing is that our body doesn't know the difference between our imagination and our real perception. So the longer that we spend practicing feeling the result that we want and the feelings associated with it, the longer that we can convince our body that it is real. So if we spend all of our time focusing only on the problems and what we don't want, then that is what we are telling our body is real. Now, that doesn't make it any less real if we try to imagine something else. We still have to do the work. But what's important to remember here is that we actually can become addicted to the chemicals that are produced by the types of thoughts that we have when we understand that we are suffering, when we are not happy, when we are not fully expressing ourselves in our life because we have perceived limitations. Those chemicals can be addictive. So literally, as Joe Dispenza puts it, we become addicted to being unwell, being unhappy, being unsatisfied and unfulfilled. And if we don't want that anymore, we have to work to break the addiction. So we have to take time every day and practice. We have to practice what it would be like to let go of those addictions. Instead of waiting for our environment to tell us it's okay to feel good, to feel happy, to feel fulfilled, to feel loved, we can choose to feel that way anytime we want. And this is a very literal thing. This is something that can be measured. So for example, I'm wearing this ring. It's called an Oura ring. And it measures something called heart rate variability. And people that are unhappy and unwell have very low heart rate variability. This is a known fact. And when people drop into meditative states and trances where they feel what can be described as a sense of oneness or complete loving embrace of the universe, whatever you want to describe, right? Christians might say they feel the presence of God or Jesus. It can be any different way of understanding this, whatever fits your paradigm. But when we drop into that place where we feel that sense of connection, our heart rate variability drastically increases. And then what happens is our brain and our heart drop into a state called coherence. So the electric frequency, the waves that are produced by the heart and that of the brain start to sync up instead of being all disjointed, which is exactly what we see in people who have mental illness or anxiety or depression or anger and other negative emotions. That's conflict. And so if we want to change that inner state, that takes practice because, yes, we are born with this innate ability, but it also doesn't tend to just happen spontaneously on a regular basis. We can have those moments kind of accidentally. We can have moments of spiritual awakening, or, you know, profound moments like when your child is born, right? These are times where all of these things do come together. And so the point of all of this is to say that we can live in that state more consistently, no matter what's going on TV, on the debates, on social media, in your bank account, or in your body. We can take time to create that state whenever we want. And the more that we practice it, the better we get at it. And then it starts to happen spontaneously, where we don't have to have profound experiences happening to us. We start to create those experiences. So now you have your goal on one side of the paper. On the other side of the paper, write a few words to describe the feelings you get when you imagine having accomplished that thing or created that new reality in your life, right? It could be joyful, it could be loved, it could be grateful, it could be liberated, it could be any number of, you know, positive emotions that you would associate with that, right? So just write a few. And then in the middle, you can draw a letter, right? So if it was, you know, that you wanted to, you know, have a really delicious lunch, right? Just to oversimplify. You could draw an L, and then you just want to draw a couple of squiggly lines around it, kind of concentric, you know, circles that are squiggly. And that's to basically create a symbol that has some, you know, symbolic meaning that you're now going to associate with the goal and the emotions that you've associated with it. Okay? So what we're doing here is, this is exactly what they do when you watch a commercial on TV that really tugs at your heartstrings or really gets your attention, right? And you know, they set you up for having this sort of emotional experience where you're then more suggestible. Your subconscious starts to tune in. And you can do the same thing to yourself, except in this case, you're not going to be programming yourself to ask your doctor if, you know, Flexor is right for you, or, you know, if the new flavor of Mountain Dew is really better than the original, okay? This is about something that you really want to create. And it's the exact same psychological mechanism to program your subconscious with your desires. All right, so hopefully by now everyone's got something to work with, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just practicing. This is to give yourself an opportunity to try it out, and then you continue to work with it, okay? So now, take a good look at what you wrote and the symbol that you drew. Okay, and just burn it into your mind. And then find a comfortable seat. Ideally, if you're sitting in a chair, you want to sit forward in your chair so that your knees can drop below your hips. Or if it's possible, to sit with your legs comfortably crossed. So this is kind of a half lotus position, where you just have one heel tucked up against your crotch and against your leg here, and the other one just comfortably straight across. That's possible. And I'm sitting on a little cushion to raise my butt a little bit. Okay? But if not, just however you are, that's fine. You can also lay down if you really like to. And then close your eyes. So first, just notice your breath. Don't try to change it. Don't try to force it. Just notice your breath. And on the next exhale, let yourself relax. So exhale with a ha. Ha. And from here, if you'd like, we're going to do a little exercise to help kind of strengthen our body's electrical field. And if that feels comfortable, I invite you to join us. If not, just breathe along with us. And what we're going to do is, so if any of you have had kids, you remember Kegel exercises, or maybe you do yoga and you know about the bandhas and the mula bandha. So it's basically your root chakra. And it's that same muscle that you would flex when you're trying really hard not to pee your pants. So if you can find that muscle, you just want to squeeze it by pulling it up. So you try to lift, and then from here you can try to suck your abs up and in, and that should force you to sit up straighter. And then inhale. And try to imagine the air and the energy rising up your spine, up to the top of your head. At the top of your head, hold, squeeze, hold. And exhale, relax. And we'll do 2 more breaths like this. So again, squeeze those muscles, pull them up, pull up your abs. Inhale through the nose. Squeeze. Hold at the top. And exhale. We're pumping all that fluid in the spine up into the brain and building that magnetic field around our body called a toroid. It goes up the spine and around our bodies. The healthier we are and the happier we are, the stronger and bigger that field is, and the more able we are to affect our physical reality. And so one last breath. Go ahead again, squeeze those muscles, pull up the abs, inhale, hold the top, a little more, Great. Now just let your breath settle. You might feel a little tingly, might feel a little pulsing in your head. That's good. Now take another deep breath in, and this time you can imagine as you're breathing in through your heart. Imagine that instead of the air coming in through your head, it's coming in right here. And then when you exhale, imagine it's shooting out. So we're dropping into our hearts, and we're focusing our attention right here, right behind the sternum. Focus all of your energy and attention right there. Become aware of that space behind your sternum. Breathing in into that space, exhaling out through that space. And continue to focus your attention here. But now, imagine that symbol. What was that symbol that you drew? What were some of the emotions that you wanted to feel? Can you imagine what they would feel like in your body if you were having that experience right now? If you can desire it, it is possible. You may not know how to achieve it yet, but the more you practice, the more you call the solutions in. This isn't about magically transforming the world around you. It is about creating the awareness that allows you to create the change. Now, that may be stumbling upon a bag of money outside of the grocery store to solve all your money problems. It could be that simple. That could be something that you call into your life. But the reality is that most likely, if you're focusing on a goal about money or your career, is that if you are coming from a place of knowing that what you want is possible, that there is a way, then the solutions will come very easily and naturally. And you'll know exactly what to do. And the same thing goes for our health. Many of my clients, we start getting to work and they say, oh, I know I need to be doing this. I just haven't been doing it. And I ask them why. And most of the time is that they say, well, I don't know if it will work. I don't know if it was really helping me, and I don't know. Well, that's okay. It's all right not to know. What's more important is to say, well, if this is going to change, it's up to me. I'm going to do the work. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to solve all the problems that I have, that I've created. I'm going to change the way I think. I'm going to change the way I feel. And I'm going to get different results. So let's take a couple more breaths in through the heart, out through the heart. And as you're ready, drop back into your body. Slowly open your eyes. Come back to the present moment. So, no matter what's happening, this is always available to you. No matter how stressful things are, no matter how bad you feel, we can take a moment to drop back into our heart and reconnect with our heart's desires. Change our physical reality by changing what we choose to focus on. This is the fundamental first step of any significant life changes that we want to make. First, it is acknowledging that what we want and the pain that may be associated with going after it is less than the pain of staying who and where we are. Because no matter what, life has challenges, life is difficult, but we get to choose what kind of difficult we want. Do we want the kind of difficult that yields the life and the results that we really know deep down in our hearts we deserve? Or are we going to settle for the hard that we've kind of fallen into by default? So with the last few minutes that we have, would anybody like to share a little bit of the experience that they just had? If so, you can unmute yourself, and if that doesn't work, just put a message in the chat and I can unmute you.
Hi.
Hi.
I I started that breathing, the beginning breathing exercises that you showed us like a week and a half or so ago. It's part of my morning routine now, where I do that breathing and then I do my meditation. But I hadn't been focusing on my goals and my dreams. So I'm gonna incorporate that into it now in the mornings. And I mean, I know that just starting my mornings that way has been helping me get through the day, without fatigue and without as much mental stress. So I'm looking forward to adding this final step.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else want to share? Anything they might have experienced? Alrighty. Well, I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to drop in with their hearts to share this moment with me. And I hope that you will all continue to practice and experiment with this. And if you do, please share with me what you're experiencing, what's happening for you. And I'd like to also share that this is part of the first week, the first step of my 4-week program that we're going to be doing as a group in November to help us reorient ourselves towards health and happiness and whatever other goals that we might have, and to combine all of that together with nutrition and movement to create positive change in our lives, and to do that in a group that is supportive as a community, working together. And so if anybody is interested in more information about that and like what they've experienced today, there's a lot more where this came from. So on my website, it's ericlevinson.com/beatthebloat2020. And there's more information about that there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And until we meet again, be well, and I hope that this practice serves you well. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Eric?
Hi, Elise.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Is the vitamin A detoxing going to go on in this November thing?
Yeah, with all of the new, information and advances that I've made in the program that are going to be added into it. So building on what we did last year and taking it even further.
So if we've already done it, it's not a bad idea to do it again. I was going to ask.
Not a bad idea at all. Yeah, because last year, we did a little bit of mindset stuff.
Yeah. I know I was talking to Stacy, she's doing it this week, and she was eating garbanzo beans. I said, wait, that wasn't on my program last year.
Right. Yeah, I've learned a lot, with over the past year, having now worked with, over 50 people the past year, and seeing so many different things, and just learning so much more about the process and how much, further beyond this just being a thing with vitamin A, because it really has a lot to do with, the underlying biochemistry that vitamin A is just a small part of.
Okay. Will you send me some information? I have someone else that I want to do it with me.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'll text you over the website, and there's a video and all the details about the program there.
Okay.
And then for your friend too, let her know that if she's interested to learn more, I'm happy to hop on a quick call to answer her questions about it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.